Hello YouTube, my name is Strife Hirath and welcome to my reaction video for Michael Jackson versus Elvis Presley, Epic Rap Battles of History, Season 2. The King of Pop versus the King of Rock and Roll. Both had their controversies in life, both had their pros, both had their cons. I'm more of an Elvis Presley fan. He did a lot of great music, a lot of great covers. I know a lot of them were covers, but he put his own touch on them and I really enjoyed them. Not to take anything away from Michael. Everyone loves Thriller, okay? I'm not taking anything away from Michael. But Elvis Presley is my choice musically. Probably going to be my choice as far as the rap battle goes as well. So my money's on Elvis Presley. Let's check it out. See who wins. All right. You didn't think they didn't say anything about Little Michael. I figured Adult Michael. Little Michael was something special. Back with the Jackson 5, man. Elvis was a decent dancer. I'm not gonna count that as against Elvis. Okay. That's dropping hunks of burning love. That's a good fucking insult. I gotta give that to him. Um, if anyone's interested in knowing more about the whole drug situation with Elvis and his manager, you should really check that out if you haven't already. It's very interesting. It's how a lot of celebrities do. You know, they take uppers to perform, they take downers because they have to, because they took the uppers, and then they're gonna take the uppers to get over the downers, and it's a vicious cycle. So check that out. Read about it when you get the chance. So, call me Ed Sullivan, shoot you from the waist up. That right there is great, using something against him that, that actually happened. On the Ed Sullivan show originally, Elvis is like dancing and hip gyrations for that point in time were considered too sexual for television, just his little dancing. So they could only shoot him from the waist up for, to keep the purity of America, to so they don't incite America with lustfulness, I guess. Shit. That monkey, Bubbles. I think it was named Bubbles. I'm pretty sure it was named Bubbles. I always confuse it with Bubbles from DBZ. I don't know if they named DBZ Bubbles after Bubbles or vice versa from Michael Jackson. I'm not sure. If you know, let me know down below. But yeah, for that nose, that nose. That nose was just like a Mr. Potato Head nose at that point. They just popped it right on.
You better surrender, talk about them ABCs, because all you want to do is teach kids the birds and the bees. This is the big time Jack.
Yep. Knew that was coming. What celebrity was it? Not celebrity, but stand-up comedian. Stand-up comedian said, someone calls you a crackhead for 20 years. You probably smoke crack. I am not levying any allegations against Michael Jackson. I'm just saying. And those parents. God, those parents. Anyways, back to the entertainment.
Dress rehearsal, I'll light you up like your hair in a Pepsi commercial. I can tell her.
That's good. That's good. Pepsi commercial reference. Yeah. That's good. So far. I mean, a lot of what Michael Jackson was talking about in the first one was, he's beaten all Elvis's records. Just because you're popular doesn't make you better. If you're more popular doesn't make you better. I'm not saying Michael Jackson isn't better, but just because you're more popular doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best at what you do. I told you I was going for Elvis. I'm trying to be fair.
You're angry, but I can't comprehend it. I stole from black culture. Why are you offended? Your daddy beat gold records out of you like alchemy. Don't make me spank you and dangle your ass off a roof balcony. Oh, it's about time for a thriller.
All right, adult.
I just added vanilla. I'm going off the wall.
Just added vanilla. It's good. Also off the wall. Gotcha.
I won't stop till I get enough. Whooping your big fat ass with a sonic glove. How you gonna talk about the birds of bees when you met your own wife and she was only 14 and you made $1?
Oh. Yep. That's a good point. Okay. That balanced out the ABC's Birds and the Bees. Okay. Gotcha.
Came to me. I took her to my Neverland ranch.
Why is he just steady eating sandwiches in the back? I mean, yeah, I know. Peanut butter and banana, I think it was, yeah. Alright.
You're a creeper, dude. You like to grab your own wanger. I don't let you marry my daughter because I knew you'd never bang her. You think you're tough? Man, you look...
Shit. I knew you'd never bang her. There are those allegations that those aren't really his kids. But Paris, Blanket, and I can't remember the other one. I believe, and I could be wrong, that his two sons have the same name. Blanket is just a nickname. I didn't find that out until about a year ago. Pretty sure they have the same name. And he just calls one Blanket. Because he's supposed to be a blanket of love over the world. I'm not sure. Something like that.
Look like Tootie. I was badder than you in my Blue Hawaii movie. You lost your damn mom, that's why they cast you in the whiz. You're like a sad white woman.
Oh man, why he's just sitting back there steady humping his hand. But yeah, that's a great reference right there to the Wiz. I watched the Wiz a few times when I was a kid. I recently rewatched it 2 years ago. It's like every movie you watch when you're a kid and you remember certain parts of it, and then you eventually get it's not nearly as good as the original, but it's a good movie. But it's a great reference because Michael Jackson played the Scarecrow in The Wiz.
Who never got to be a kid. I'm out before you try to hold me and free your willy. Later, weirdo. Elvis is alive in the building.
Whole war! Whole snaps! Unify!
You know, one of the hard parts is I see all these frames for future ones, and I just can't wait to get to them. But I'm trying to do these in order, unless they come out with a brand new one. But anyways, yeah, Michael Jackson versus Elvis Presley. That's a hard battle right there to choose who came out on top. Man, Michael had some really good lines. I mean, yes, I think he has all the records, or his records are always higher than Elvis as far as albums sold, and but things like that, they get beaten all the time with the availability of music now. They're going to count digital downloads and singles, which I mean, it's cheap. You can go download music, and not many people buy CDs anymore, so you can just snap of your fingers, you have it all. Back then, especially for stuff like Elvis, where back when he first started coming out, and for a while there, his music was really considered rebellious. The whole rock and roll devil's music kind of deal. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to go get the new Elvis vinyl, and parents were all about no, it's devil's music, it's sexual and all this other stuff. A little bit easier when you got to the 80s and the 90s in Michael's heyday. I mean, Michael's 70s too, but back when he became an adult, back in the 80s when he came out with Off the Wall and Thriller, it was Michael was a little bit more family friendly. Music was a little bit more accessible. You didn't quite get into that 90s. Well, who was that? Tipper Gore and her explicit content. I believe it was Tipper Gore and her explicit content labels. Ugh, terrible. But before that, I mean, a little bit more accessible, more people, more access to music, different platforms you could listen to it on. So, I mean, you know, we have artists right now who I personally think, I mean, personally, they may be the greatest people on earth, but the music sounds like shit to me, and they're beating everyone's records. They're beating Beatles records, they're beating Michael Jackson's records and Elvis's records. So, you know, I just discount all of that as far as beating all of your records. So, as far as like who had the hardest hits, sorry for that rant. Only a little bit sorry, but sorry. So, as far as who won that, I'm probably gonna have to say Elvis. I told you, you know, I was a little bit biased in the first place, but I think his comments, you know, the ABCs and the birds and the bees was pretty good, and his insults about like stealing from black culture, you know, he was some of them he was a little bit ironic and a little bit sarcastic, but I think he had the better lines. So that's my choice as far as who won this one. Who do you think won? Let me know down below. And if you think I'm wrong, or if I've gotten any of that rambling information that I just spouted out wrong, also let me know. Thank you very much for watching. Please, don't forget, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.